Welcome back. In the last video, I introduced you to Jane and John, who were parents of a teenage girl who I have named Molly. As I said, all names have been changed. They were feeling really stuck and frustrated and exhausted with the rows they were having daily. John, as I mentioned, came from a military background, which meant he had an awful lot of discipline and structure in his life, but it really did not work with his daughter. And so Jane felt she was caught in the middle. She felt she was failing. And honestly, there was a lot of tension, a lot of rows, and they were very unhappy when I met them. So today I want to share with you what happened next. When they worked with me and they embraced a new parenting approach relating to ADHD. Because this story is proof that the transformation is possible. My story is proof as well, but I wanted to share another story to really give proof. So, literally after the first one session together, Jane and John started to look at Molly through a different lens. They realized something really powerful. Molly wasn't being difficult on purpose. She was struggling to meet the expectations she wasn't yet equipped for. They began learning how ADHD impacts emotional regulation, how they struggle with transitions, and how executive functioning impacts so much of their daily lives. They started to understand that behavior was actually just a form of communication, not a sign of defiance. They stopped asking, why won't you listen? Why won't she do what we ask her? And they started asking themselves, what support does she need at the moment? And the really, really big part was John stopped trying to fix Molly and started building real connections with her instead. He prioritized those connections. And Jane shifted from constantly correcting her to having a supportive collaboration and problem-solving approach. Together, they created a shared family strategy, which they called Time Away, which was a way for any of them to reset without escalating when they were feeling dysregulated. It was awkward at first. They felt really difficult. It felt unfamiliar. But the more they did it, the more they recognized it really was working. They learned how to respond to stress, and they built emotional regulation skills, not just for Molly, but for themselves. And the results were just incredible in 4 months. This is what Jane told me at the end. We now have a stronger relationship with our daughter. And it started with me changing my expectations, not her. They thought they had built a life-changing change. And the work they were doing was creating a foundation for generational change. They recognized that they were building a relationship based on understanding, not fear or control. So they didn't just get better behavior, they got peace, they got connection, and they got clarity about who their daughter was and how to support her going forward. So here's the bigger question. What would it feel like to stop firefighting behavior and stop rowing and having meltdowns and start understanding what's underneath it? What might open up for your child if they felt supported instead of scolded? That's what this new model of parenting is creating. And you can do it as well. I will be hosting a free webinar to talk live about this next week. It's planned for the first week of next term, so I can support you throughout the whole semester. Keep an eye on your emails to register for the webinar for next week. But before we get there, I'd love to hear from you. What's one shift you'd like to make in your parenting right now? You can hit reply in the email. I promise I read every response. See you then. Bye.